This is a Stanley Model 17036 delayed egress maglock. This is the standard style delayed egress maglock that AMPed prefers to use. If you take off the cover plate, you will see the main circuit board and a daughter board. AMPed will oftentimes not use the daughter board, so we will not go over that piece. On one side of the main board, you will see the terminal block. AMPed uses the top 6 terminals: power plus and minus, fire plus and minus, and lock plus and minus. In certain situations, we will use egress plus and minus, but that is on a case-by-case basis. Depending on your facility, these locks will run on 12 or 24 volts. This is set by jumper J2. If jumpers are over all 4 of the pins, this means that the lock is running in 12 volt mode. If there is a jumper on the middle 2 pins, that means that this lock is running in 24 volt mode. We like to run our locks with the power restore feature disabled. This means that if there is a loss of power for any reason, once the power comes back to the lock, it will function normally again without needing to press the power restore button on the front of the lock. This setting is set by jumper J3. If the jumper is on both pins, that means that the feature is disabled, and if it is on one or no pins, that means the feature is enabled. You can tell that this lock has the feature enabled due to the text on the daughter board being obscured. The dip switches that are on the main board set some settings of the lock, but this is mainly configured by AMPed technicians, so you do not need to worry about messing with those switches until it comes time to replace the main board, but we will discuss that later in the video. You will also see the bond sensor in the area of the board. This tells the lock if it is going into egress, and there is an accompanying thumb screw on the armature plate that will occasionally need to be adjusted. This thumb screw needs to be set at a maximum of a 1/16 of an inch from the sensor when the door is closed for the lock to function as expected. It is fine to have it closer than a 1/16 of an inch, but the thumb screw should not be touching the sensor. You will need a couple of tools, a Phillips head screwdriver, and possibly a small flathead screwdriver. Often these small drivers are referred to as tweakers. First, open the door and find the cover plate of the maglock. Unscrew the cover plate and set the cover plate and screw aside. Next, unscrew the 2 screws that hold the daughter board and main board together. Note that there are 2 nylon washers that separate the boards, and it's important not to lose them as they are needed for electrical insulation. Remove the daughter board, screws, and washers and set them aside. Remove the main board from the block body, and then remove the terminal block from the main board. It may be tight, so you may have to wiggle it loose. Turn the main board over and remove the 3-pin and 4-pin connectors from the board. They also may be tight, so be careful when removing them. Let's go over the pieces and parts you should have to make sure nothing got lost. You should have the main board, 2 screws and 2 nylon washers, the daughter board, and the cover plate and accompanying screw. Now, let's copy over the settings from the old board to the new board. This is where you will need to touch the dip switches. First, set jumper J2 to be the same as it is on the old board. This is key, as if this is set incorrectly, it could kill the maglock. Next, set the dip switches to be the same as the old board. Last, ensure that jumper J3 is on both pins. Your new board should now be the same as your old board. Grab your new board and identify the power restore button. You can use this as a guide for placing the board back in the lock body. Plug in the 3-pin and 4-pin connectors into the back of the board. Orient the board so that the pins for the wire harness are on your left and insert the board into the lock body. Ensure that the wires are fitting okay and are not being jammed into the cavity behind the board. Remember to use the power restore button hole on the lock body as a guide for fitting the board in. Once the board is in, grab the daughter board and place the 2 screws into the holes. Place the washers on the back side of the board. Place the daughter board on the main board. The the green terminal should be on your right, and jumper J3 should slot through the hole on the daughter board. Tighten the screws. Place the wire harness on the pins on the main board. Make sure that the wire harness goes over all pins. No pins should be showing. Fit the wires back into the lock body and then replace the cover plate on the lock. For older style locks, the cover plate should be flush with the bond sensor and lock body, and for newer style locks, the cover plate should be flush with the lock body. Replace and tighten the screw. Ensure that the door is closed and the red LED on the lock is lit. Push the door hard until you start hearing beeping and the red LED starts flashing. The egress countdown has started.
Alright, go ahead and close it back.
Lock will continue to alarm until it is reset with a badge swipe or valid keypad code. Lock LED is green due to being unlocked. LED will turn red once locked again. If the lock tests and resets fine, your board replacement is complete.